Hey, y'all. Okay, welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're talking about what to do if you want to lose 30 pounds fast. So, this is essentially what I would do if I was starting my weight loss journey over in order to do it quicker and with more efficiency. And this is kind of a lot of what I teach to my clients in my program, a lot of the methods and strategies that we use to lose weight. So I'm going to share all of it with you today. It's going to be super helpful if you're starting your weight loss journey, whether it's 30 pounds or 100 pounds, it's all the same process. And the more you stick to the process, the faster you can get it done, the more efficiently you can get it done. And I've seen people do this so quickly when they're really practice, when they're really like on top of the process and really focused on just the process and letting all of the drama go. Weight loss can have so much drama, and the clients that really struggle with it are really caught up in the drama instead of just focused on the process. And like, all right, this is the next step, and whatever happened, happened. It's okay. I'm letting it go. I'm moving on. So, keep that in mind. If you've really struggled with weight loss in the past, it's probably because you're caught up in the drama. And it's really easy to get caught up in this. Weight loss can be super emotional. It's something that we really want, but we're also very emotionally tied to the food that we're eating. And so we can get in these places where we feel super torn and we're judging ourselves and beating ourselves up. And ultimately, we're not very nice to ourselves, and it becomes this whole big like brawl of emotions and drama that isn't necessary, and it never helps you get to where you want to go. So the people that do this really well and really quickly can just kind of let all of that drama go to the side and just really focus on the process and what's my next best step. Okay, I do want to say I offer free nutrition consultations where I provide you a roadmap to your weight loss success without dieting. So you can book that at my website, basically at meals.com. I'll put the link in the show notes, but that's basically it, meals.com. And if you click the button there, you can go book your call, and it is so helpful. Everyone that does this is like, thank you. So, like, I should have done this sooner. I feel like my eyes are opened about what I need to do and how I can actually move forward with this. A lot of times when we're in the weight loss, when we're trying to lose weight, we feel very stuck. We might have a little bit of motivation. Maybe we don't know where our motivation went. Ultimately, we feel like we're spinning around in circles and getting nowhere. And having a roadmap of like, these are the actual things that are holding me back, and this is what I need to do in order to lose weight successfully is so, so helpful. Actually, that would be one of my things that I would do if I was losing my 30 pounds all over again in order to do it faster. I would get a free nutrition consultation and really get some good advice from somebody who knows my struggle and has gone through it and helped others through it before. So, so helpful, so powerful. Okay, let's get into today's episode. So, um, first of all, first of all, I would book my roadmap nutrition, my free nutrition consultation. Second of all, get a journal and sit down and start asking yourself, what is going through my head when I'm overeating? Um, where this is going to be most helpful is to just pick a time that maybe that could be look like you're finishing up your workday, you've got to go pick up the kids, and you're always reaching for a bag of chips at that time. Or you're on the couch at night and, you know, the kids are finally in bed and it's Netflix time. It's finally some time for you. And so you're always like going to the kitchen and rummaging around for a snack. Or it might be anytime you feel super stressed out, you're wanting to get something, or so pinpoint that for yourself. It can look like a specific time of day. It can be surrounded by a particular set of circumstances, or it can be tied to an emotion that you're experiencing. But it's very helpful to just pick one time. To just blanketly say, why am I overeating? Isn't very helpful. It's way too general. Your brain really needs a very specific thing to focus on. And you can even retrograde this. So, like, go back to the last time. Actually, I don't know if I use that word properly. I was just coaching some of this today, and I may have said, I think I said like retrofit it. And I was like, did I even say that? I don't even know if that's right. And of course, I did it here. So that's fantastic. But you can even go back to the most recent time that you overate, or that you feel like you were a little bit out of control in your eating, and start asking yourself questions. What was going on in my head? Why did I do that? Why did I make that choice? Be neutral about this, though. Going in and judging yourself, what's wrong with me? Why do I keep self-sabotaging? I say I want to lose weight, but then I do this. That's not useful. I was actually coaching somebody on that today, and I was like, judging yourself for overeating is like being mad that the dog barked because somebody knocked at the door. Like, it's not useful. You're not helping that situation at all. You're just getting mad. You're not getting anywhere. You're not moving forward at all. You're not teaching the dog not to do that. You're not you know, alleviating anything for yourself, any emotional burden for yourself. It doesn't help. So going into that situation in a neutral, like, I'm here to be curious and gain some insight about what's going on in my head when I'm eating. So journal, ask yourself some good questions. What was I thinking about when I had chips on the couch last night? What was I experiencing emotionally? What was I trying to avoid by eating the chips? A lot of times we are either trying to solve an emotion that we're going through, or we're trying to avoid experiencing an emotion. The part of our brain that's driving you to feel out of control with food and to overeat is pain and pleasure based. So it's trying to get out of pain and into pleasure, or avoid pain and stay in pleasure. So it's a lot of like, don't experience that. And food is always the pleasure in this scenario for you. If you're overeating, food is your pleasure. So it's helping you avoid pain or get out of pain in some way. And that pain usually looks like emotional pain. It's not like you broke your foot and you're wanting to eat. It's always emotional. It's always circumstantial. So think about like asking yourself questions like that. That's really going to help you not only be able to move forward from that, because sometimes when you start getting into this stuff, you're like, this is so stupid. I can't believe I'm even thinking this. I'm just not going to do that anymore. So many times I coach clients through situations like this, and they're like, once I show them what they're thinking in that situation, they're like, oh, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm done. And it can be that easy. So that's one aspect of it. And secondly, knowing what you're going through in those times when you're overeating helps you to notice when that starts to come on the next time. You can say, I know that I always have this thought of the chips are really going to make me feel amazing right now, so I'm going to go eat chips. And then you can start to hear your brain say that. Oh, there it is. There's my brain telling me that chips are going to solve all of my problems. Yeah, they aren't. So I'm going to, take a couple minutes for myself instead of eating the chips. So that's really huge. Knowing those things ahead of time gives you confidence. It makes you feel prepared instead of blindsided when you want to eat something. And it really, really helps you grow through this weight loss journey in your mindset. Number 2, or should I say 3? Forget all the diet BS. A lot of times when I start working with people, they are so confused. They're so caught up in these are all of the diets that I've tried, and I don't even know what's right anymore. I've heard a banana will make me fat. I've heard it's too high in sugar. I've heard it's the best thing for weight loss. I heard it will get rid of my bloat. I heard I could be allergic to, like, and really, actually, I've had that specific banana scenario come up with people, but it can be, this diets in general are so confusing. They're very contradictory. Um, and we get so caught up in all of those specific minutia that we don't even know what to eat. And what ultimately ends up happening is all of that confusion and turmoil results in us usually just eating junk because we're like, I don't know. I don't know if it's good or if it's bad. So I'm just going to grab these chips because I can't decide if I should have this banana or not. So you got to let that go. And that was a big part of my challenge when I was starting to lose weight is I was trained in the diets. That's all we did in school was talk about diets and specific foods and lists of foods that we should and shouldn't have and how they would all affect your weight and all of those things. And that's all I did all day was prescribe diets to people. And so when I was trying to lose weight, I was very diet focused. What's the diet? What's the food plan? What should I not be eating? And ultimately, somebody who really understands a lot of that stuff, I got confused. I was confusing myself. I was like, I don't know anymore. I'm so confused by all of this diet stuff that I'm going to go eat some cookies because I can't process through all of this. You have to just drop the diet stuff. Your body, so this is what I teach now, and this is what ultimately really worked for me. And this is what allows you to be able to make wise food decisions and lose weight while living your life. It's by listening to your body because your body has all the information that you need. It knows how much food you need. It knows what foods feel good that it can digest and utilize. And it knows what foods it can't digest and really don't feel good for it. So you have to, but I can't tell you that. You have to discover that for yourself because what works for me might not work for you. And that's why part of why diets don't work because there isn't one blanket thing that works for everybody. You really ultimately need to be able to listen to yourself and what works for you in order to successfully lose weight. And then that can propel you through situations like going to a party. Instead of just wanting to eat everything, you get to say, what is going to feel good for me? What are the decisions that are going to work for me to feel how I want to feel and still weigh what I want? You don't have to rely on somebody else making these choices for you. You get to listen to yourself and make those choices yourself. That's what's really important. Okay. Number 3, evaluating. This is huge. It's very underutilized. I don't even know if it's utilized in weight loss. It's really not. Let me just tell you, from somebody who prescribed a lot of diets and talked to people as a clinical nutritionist about their weight, when people would come in, I would give them a diet and then they would come back and, how's it going? Well, I can't stick to it. I just keep eating ice cream or I just keep grabbing the drive-through on the way home. And I don't know how to stop doing that. And I was never like, okay, let's evaluate those decisions. Let's talk about why you're making those decisions and how they actually feel for you. Like physically, how does that food feel? Is that how you want to feel? Are these choices that you want to continue to make? Fantastic. Let's do that. I never ever did that. It was like, oh, I don't know why you can't stop either. Just stop. That was like ultimately what we learned in school. Like, if you're overweight and you're eating junk, just stop. Just don't do it. Well, that doesn't help anybody. So evaluate, and it doesn't help you. If you're at home and you're eating crap and you can't stop, don't tell yourself to just stop. That doesn't work. You need to start asking yourself good questions. Why am I making these decisions? What's going on for me in those moments? How do I want to handle it next time? And I think that's ultimately like the end goal of evaluation. Okay, this is going to happen again. I'm going to want to hit the drive-through up on my way home from work after I've had a really stressful day. So, how am I going to handle it next time, tomorrow, when it comes up again? How am I going to handle it? Here's my plan. And really thinking those things through so that you feel prepared for that to come on instead of totally blindsided, which I think a lot of us are like, well, I'm just not going to do it anymore. And then we do it again because we really, that doesn't prepare us at all for our brain to start saying, you know what? Going to the drive-through will solve all of our problems. It's going to make us feel amazing. It's like, oh yeah, okay, that is what's going to happen, that is going to make me feel amazing. Yeah, I'm just going to go do that. And then beating ourselves up after we do it. So we really need to think through like how will I handle this? What's my plan of action? What is my brain going to start telling me? I'm going to feel this strong desire to go to the drive-through so that I can get rid of my stress. And this is how I'm going to handle that when it comes up. So that evaluation process brings so much awareness to what's going on and helps you get in the driver's seat of this is how I want to handle it next time it comes up. And I'll just throw this in there. So I was on a group coaching, a bunch of my clients, and one of them to handle the holidays. And I said, how do he was saying, I tend to just want to eat like all the cookies. I'll just eat like every cookie that I can. And he was like, but cookies don't really feel that good for me. And so I don't know, like, how do I handle this? And I was like, well, if you want to not eat cookies during the holidays, let's work backwards from that belief. Like, I don't want to eat cookies. So let's work backwards from that. And that was kind of how I was coaching him because that's what he was saying he wanted. And then another client came in and said, I want to have cookies during the holidays. And I was like, no, no, no. Don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you that you can't have cookies during the holidays. I'm saying you make that decision for yourself. How do you want to have, like, what do you want for yourself? It's not for me to tell you, it's for me to guide you based on what you want. So that is always where I'm coming from. This is ultimately your decision. And anyone who tells you otherwise does not have your best interest at heart and probably isn't going to work out for you. It has to be what you want, it has to be your choice. And it ultimately always is. So you get to decide, do I want to be somebody who I just don't want to have cookies during the holidays? I would rather have some extra mashed potatoes. Or are you somebody I like cookies. I'm going to have cookies during the holidays. This is a part of my life that I always want to have. I just want to be able to enjoy one cookie and not want to eat the entire plate. So it's always up to you, but evaluating is what's going to shed the light on that and help you decide what is best for you. Okay, that's what I've got for you today. If you have not signed up for your free nutrition consultation to get your roadmap for weight loss success, go to the link, my website, basicallyatmeals.com, and do that now. And I will see you there. Bye bye.